Imagine yourself on a brisk Christmas Eve morning, the clock just ticking past 6:30, with the chill of the dark streets nipping at your cheeks as your breath intertwines with the cold air, creating little clouds as you make your way down the high street bundled in your coat and scarf. Ahead of you, an impressive queue has already formed outside the local butcher shop, a line of 50 eager souls, all sharing the singular mission of collecting the cherished turkey they reserved weeks in advance. This wasn't merely another routine morning. This was Christmas Eve in the heart of 1970s Britain, a time when the entire nation seemed synchronized, performing age-old rituals in unison. Shops closed their doors early, not to reopen until the 27th, adding a sense of urgency as last-minute tasks mingled with timeless traditions. For those who lived through it, this day was a beautiful blend of frenzy and festivity. It was less about shopping and more about the essential mission of ensuring your family's holiday feast would be complete, a kind of joyful endurance that many found enchanting. Eager patrons arrived early. By 7 o'clock, the shop's window had already begun to fog up from the warmth inside, showcasing an impressive display of turkeys, each dangling with a purpose. Some birds exceedingly large, others more modest in size, yet every single one spoken for long ago. Savvy shoppers had planned ahead, placing orders back in November, securing their prized bird with a deposit, well aware that without it, they might find themselves dining on less ceremonious fare, perhaps chicken, or heaven forbid, nothing at all. Inside the bustling shop, the butcher greeted every customer by name, Mrs. Davies, Mr. Williams, the Johnson family, with friendly familiarity. He would vanish into the back, emerging moments later with your turkey, dutifully wrapped in brown paper, its weight like that of a small child, the coldness palpable even through layers of wrapping. Outside, people stamped their feet against the cold, rubbed their hands for warmth, their breath visible as they patiently waited, no one showing a hint of dissatisfaction over the load they now carried. This was Christmas Eve, part of an unchanging tradition, and besides, where else could they experience such a scene? The interior of the shop was reassuringly familiar, with sawdust scattered across the floor, the rich scent of fresh meat commingling with the earthy smell of smoke from a stove in the corner. The butcher, garbed in his striped apron, the fabric smeared with the day's labors but none of the effort diminishing his cheerfulness. This was his peak moment of the year. Rising before dawn at 4, he diligently prepared every order, meticulously checking weights and ensuring each customer received exactly what they had reserved. By 9 o'clock, the ritual culminated as the last turkey was entrusted to its rightful owner, and the butcher locked the door, leaving the high street to a momentary stillness. Yet the day's mission wasn't complete, not by a long shot. With the turkey secured, it was time to procure all the necessary accompaniments: bread, milk, extra butter for decadent holiday treats, those few pesky items that may have slipped the mind amidst the planning. Time was of the essence as the shops ticked towards their early closures. Woolworths became the next crucial stop, a hub of frantic energy where, by 10 o'clock, it was packed to the rafters with families. Competition grew fierce over the last box of Christmas crackers, while children tugged incessantly at their parents' sleeves, pleading for another selection box. The pick and mix counter was the epicenter of commotion, as hands darted to seize sugary delights, chocolate limes, cola bottles, shimmering sherbet lemons, stuffing white paper bags to bursting. Amidst the hustle, last-minute gifts were frantically chosen: a simple box of handkerchiefs for Grandad, talcum powder for Nana, a tin of Quality Street to bring along to the aunt's house on Boxing Day. Nothing extravagant, nothing that would break the bank, yet enough to remind loved ones they were thought of during this special time. The cash registers clattered without pause, coins chiming, paper notes quickly shuffled and counted, until finally, as the clock nudged towards midday, Woolworths drew its curtains on the bustling scene, flicked off its lights, and locked its doors. The high street emptied of its crowd, and with that, Christmas was truly underway. Now loomed the palpable sense of finality, as the realization settled in, everything had shut its doors, and the festive day was truly upon us. Those 3 words, "shop doors closed," resonated with an almost haunting presence throughout every household on Christmas Eve. This was a time when, once the doors of the shop shut, they would not open again for several days. The anticipation of Christmas Day, followed by Boxing Day, and sometimes even extending to the 27th, meant that people prepared as if they were about to endure a prolonged siege. Bread was a prime concern. Families would purchase it in bulk, 6, sometimes 8 loaves, knowing full well it might be stale by the time Boxing Day dawned. But the risk of scarcity outweighed the worry about freshness. Milk, another staple, was bought in abundance. Extra pint bottles were lined up on the doorstep because the limited space of the household refrigerator couldn't contain them all. And then there were the tin goods, shelves stacked with beans, soup, peas, and more. These weren't just pantry fillers. They were crucial safety nets in case of any oversight. Running out of supplies simply wasn't an option, as the local corner shops would remain shuttered, and even the convenience of a late-night garage selling essentials like milk wasn't available. If something was forgotten, it was a case of making do without, or perhaps sheepishly knocking on a neighbor's door in the hope that they might have a spare tin of condensed milk, crucial for the holiday trifle. Back home, the Christmas preparations demanded their own set of challenges. The centerpiece of the feast, an enormous turkey, posed a particular dilemma. Frozen solid, this bird couldn't fit into the diminutive fridge that struggled to accommodate even a single pint of milk and the leftover pie from the day before. So, in a creative solution dictated by necessity, the turkey found its temporary home in the bathtub, a stark reminder of the festive culinary Makachev that awaited the household. It certainly couldn't fit a 12-pound turkey, so the bird took an unexpected soak in the bathtub, with cold water cascading over its frozen form, while patience was tested over the lengthy hours needed for it to thaw. The defrosting process was slow, painstakingly slow. Your mum was on high alert, checking the turkey diligently every hour. Her hands pressed gently against its skin, and she peeked inside it with mounting concern. Her worry was palpable, gnawing at her, because if this turkey did not defrost properly, the entire Christmas dinner was at stake. There was no plan B. Not a single shop nor the butcher remained open on Christmas Eve to offer a reprieve. This turkey wasn't just a meal. It represented the very essence of what everyone had been anticipating. Meanwhile, the sprouts awaited your attention, a veritable mountain of them, green and unyielding, each resembling a small, verdant stone. There were hundreds, it seemed, all needing meticulous preparation. You found yourself stationed at the kitchen table armed with a knife and a sizable bowl. The task was clear: peel away the outer leaves and score the bottom of each sprout with a neat cross. Your mum insisted the cross ensured they cooked thoroughly, a notion you half believed. Maybe it was a way to rope you into the Christmas prep. Nonetheless, you persevered, working through the mound like a sculptor shaping his vision, though this was a project of sheer necessity rather than art. On the eve of Christmas, everyone pitched in. Rituals held sacred year after year, even when it meant whittling away 2 hours of your time with a stack of imposing sprouts as big as a rugby ball looming before you. Next was the trifle, the ceremonial dessert. The much-adorned glass bowl was extracted with reverence from its cupboard dwelling. Begin with a foundation of sponge fingers, soaked lovingly in rich sherry. Add the fruit cocktail directly from the tin. The cherries, unnaturally red and polished to a high gloss, strewn artfully over the top. Then came the jelly, quivering and merry as it set. Over this, a custard layer lovingly crafted from bird's powder mixed with hot milk. Finally, a blanket of cream whipped straight from a can, adorned with nonpareils that leaked their vibrant hues overnight, creating a kaleidoscope come morning. It was a sight to behold, taste bud evocative of childhood, and it nestled snug in the fridge, commandeering the space meant for the turkey. As evening descended, the house buzzed with the aroma of preparations. The air swam with the scent of freshly chopped onions destined for the stuffing and the comforting warmth of butter dissolving in a pan. The subtle sweetness of mince pies baking danced in the air, a hint of festive indulgence. Yet, in some homes, not all men returned home promptly for the evening's ritzy tipples. They'd ventured out earlier, ostensibly slipping to the nearby pub for a quick tipple. Early doors, they termed it, a single pint to salute the season. But one pint inevitably morphed into two, and two into four, leading to a merry, if slightly wobbly, stagger back home. By their return, the turkey already graced the oven, embarking on its inaugural check, with their wives waiting less than patiently for an explanation. But the pub on Christmas Eve was a world unto itself, crammed with patrons, each jostling for even standing room, every regular from the community gathered in one merry melange. Decorations from as far back as 1965 drooped with nostalgia amongst the crowd, paper chains sagging, and a tired string of tinsel half-heartedly adorning the bottles behind the bar. Spirits were high, laughter echoing, the landlord determined to keep the festive cheer blazing with a roaring fire. He tirelessly pulled pints, arms growing weary, yet ignoring the strictures of closing time. After all, it was Christmas Eve, a time meant for old traditions that occasionally bent the rules. Then out came the sophisticated drinks, the one stashed safely in the sideboard for such celebrated occasions. Advocaat, its rich, thick, custard-like sweetness indulgently mixed with lemonade and a drizzle of lime cordial to create the famed snowball, complete with a solitary cherry on a cocktail stick. Your mum savoured hers gingerly, nestled by the fire, feet uplifted in the only moment of reprieve for the day. Meanwhile, your dad helped himself to a sherry, feigning enjoyment with each sip. The sideboard was a cavalcade of treats waiting their turn, a bottle of Cinzano next in line, with its stylish allure, and Babycham sporting its quaint deer logo. For the kids, it was a fancier fare, bubbly lemonade served with the same care as a top-shelf spirit. Picture this. If you were fortunate, you might find yourself holding a tiny glass filled with something sparkling, perhaps a sugary soda with a bright red cherry bobbing around, giving you that delightful feeling of playing the part of a grown-up. The taste might have been less than pleasant, but tonight was Christmas Eve, and that made everything special, so you sipped away anyway. In the background, the television cast a soft glow from the corner of the room, tuned into BBC One. The traditional carols sung by the choir of King's College resonated through the speakers, their voices echoing with a blend of purity and tradition. The hauntingly beautiful solo of a young boy began with Once in Royal David City, and like clockwork, the room hushed. Conversations paused, everyone frozen for those precious moments to soak in what felt like the very essence of Christmas beginning. Later in the evening, it would be the soothing presence of Val Doonican or perhaps a classic Christmas variety show to set the atmosphere. These programs were comfortable, wholesome, and offered a kind of unspoken reassurance. Your mom would be half engaged, meticulously wrapping the final few presents with precision and care. Meanwhile, your dad would sit nearby engrossed in the radio times, pen in hand, diligently marking off the next day's television highlights. Tradition dictated that the Queen's speech was a non-negotiable watch at 3 p.m., followed by the comedic brilliance of Morecambe and Wise to entertain after dinner, and finally, a widely anticipated feature film in the evening. Such was the sanctity of this schedule, a ritual observed by the entire family. Back in those days, with only 3 television channels, this shared viewing was not just an option but a cherished tradition. As the evening drew to a close, bedtime arrived earlier than usual, an arrangement easily accepted because anticipation for Christmas morning was the driving force. You needed your rest, to be ready and wide-eyed for the day that awaited. The bath was finally available, and the turkey had been taken out, still retaining a bit of ice at its core, but it was considered satisfactory enough. You stepped into the bath filled with tepid water, as the immersion heater had given out halfway through the succession of family baths, leaving you with the precious remnants. As the last to bathe, it was simply your turn to accept what was left. Awaiting you on your bed were clean pajamas, fresh from Marks & Spencer, deliberately chosen a size too large to endure the entire year. The fabric was stiff, and it carried the unmistakable scent of plastic packaging. At the foot of your bed lay a pillowcase, not just any stocking, but an actual pillowcase. It was secured with a safety pin, ready to receive the offerings from Father Christmas. Downstairs, the customary rituals unfolded. A mince pie placed meticulously on a plate, accompanied by a glass of sherry, never milk. A carrot awaited the reindeer, all placed thoughtfully upon the hearth by the fire. Deep down, you knew the reality, yet you played along with the tradition, cherishing its significance. Your parents bestowed goodnight kisses upon you, tucking you snugly beneath weighty blankets. Despite the frigid bedroom, where ice crystals had already begun to form on the window's interior, your excitement kept any discomfort at bay. Throughout the house, the familiar creaks of floorboards, whispers, and the subtle rustle of paper filled the air. You squeezed your eyes shut, pretending to sleep, every nerve anticipating the break of dawn. Outside, the street lay silent, devoid of vehicular hum or bustling voices, illuminated solely by the soft orange glow of streetlights and the distant, melodious chimes of church bells summoning the faithful to midnight mass. Some families would embark on the chilly walk to their local church, the air steeped in the smell of damp woolen coats as they squeezed into the narrow pews. Candles flickered, casting gentle shadows, as voices harmonized in singing, "O come, all ye faithful." The vicar kept the service brief, acknowledging that weariness simply called them to their homes. Others chose the coziness of home, with the fire reduced to glowing embers and Christmas tree lights twinkling gently in the dim. Perhaps one final check on the turkey was in order, another sip of sherry before turning in for the night. Such was Christmas Eve in 1970s Britain, not a spectacle but a shared thread of cold, exhaustion, and stress that bound families together across the nation. If you can recall butcher